to the table. We're having fun already. We've got Dr. Wendy Jackson at the table, and she is here to talk about the Black Family Wellness Expo. It's sponsored by the Frankfurt Lexington chapter of the Links Incorporated. Welcome, Dr. Wendy.
Welcome.
We're so glad to have you here. You are like my OBGYN reproductive health guru. Like, you just know all the things. So I'm very excited to have you here today. But before we get too far, tell us a little bit about the Links Incorporated.
Oh, absolutely. So the Links Incorporated is actually an international not-for-profit service organization that was established in 1946. Actually, coming out of a post-World War II era, this organization came together by two innovative women from Pennsylvania that decided they needed to prepare the African American community for this post-World War era and move us forward and continue to do that. So that's what we're in the business of doing today. We have our Frankfurt Lexington chapter. There are two chapters in Kentucky. We are led here by Jacqueline Lee. She's our president. She's phenomenal. But under her leadership, we are really carrying forward what the intentional efforts are of the Links Incorporated, and this is the second annual Black Family Wellness Expo that we will have hosted here in the Bracktown area.
That's really cool. Yeah. What can people expect from this Wellness Expo?
Well, I hope that we fulfill their expectations, but some of the vendors that we're going to have present will offer screening, and so that will be screening for pediatric through adult and geriatric populations. So I think it's important when we say family that we include everybody.
Yes. Yeah.
So of course, Sherelle, you know this, my husband's a pediatric dentist, so he will be there offering screening for children. We have adult dentistry that will be represented as well, providing those screenings, and then we certainly want to be intentional in efforts for screening of medical conditions that are plaguing the African American community, right? So our medical students will be present from the Student National Medical Association to provide blood pressure screenings. We will have representatives from gastroenterology there, from UK Healthcare that's going to be providing that background and when you should have your choline screening taken care of. So really trying to be intentional. Women's health will be represented. We're going to have more than just a step up and ask your question about women's health. We're going to have a roundtable discussion and allow for an OBGYN to be present there, not to sort of bark out with information, but to be to create a space that allows some dialogue to occur, specifically about conditions that are impacting the African American community. Do I need to go down the road of maternal mortality rates in Black women?
So
Do we need to talk about the presence of fibroids and leiomyoma and the treatment options that are available that are minimally invasive as well as surgical? So I could go on and on. These are just a few of the offerings. Cut me off.
I wanted to say first, thank you so much for recognizing geriatric health too. That's very important. It's not something that we always talk about. But this event is specifically focused on African American health. And tell us why this is such an important focus.
Right, so I alluded to some of the conditions that are impacting the African American community, but we want to talk about and emphasize space for an aging population. This organization is also supported by AARP. So we certainly want to mention our sponsor there. We will have memory screening available for this population. Want to advertise and make sure that they're coming in to utilize that. The other thing I would like to think about is hypertension in the African American community. We know that this is a silent killer, that you could walk around and not know that you have severe range blood pressures. That could lead to heart disease, that can lead to stroke, that can lead to chronic kidney disease. So pointing out another sponsor for this health fair is we have a grant that's supported, Black Care, kidney care grant. So we want to make sure that we're intentional in our efforts with hypertension screening. Any other questions? I mean, I can literally go on and on.
And you know, your specialty is reproductive health. So what do you see are the biggest issues for women overall in reproductive health?
Okay. Well, do I need to go there personally? Sherelle, some of these topics are touchy.
I know. So we have, you have like 1 minute.
Okay,
So you can
I've got 1
take
minute. Okay, so I know there are all the things going on now about abortion rights in America. I know IVF, embryos, this sort of dialogue. What I want to showcase is what we're able to offer. 1, conversations about those topics. 2, preventive care, cervical cancer screening, breast cancer screening that's available to us in our very backyard, right? How do we utilize those services? And then also that if you are an individual, like 80% of African American women by age 50 that's suffering from fibroids, that you've created your norm, right? We're walking around anemic, we're walking around with heavy menstrual bleeding. We may not have access to care, so it's not recognized. We get a bulky uterus, we have symptoms related to that. We might be parenting children, we can't take off our job, this sort of thing. Understand that there are medical, surgical, and minimally invasive options for treatment, and I really want the community to come out and gain access to what those treatment options are. It's personal, near and dear to me.
Yes.
I underwent one of those procedures this past winter and had a great experience, a phenomenal recovery, and I need our community to know what's available to them.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Dr. Wendy, we're going to put the full screen up here so that you can tell people how to get to the event and when it is.
Absolutely. It's going to be at First Baptist Church, Bracktown. It's going to be on the 16th of March from 9 to noon. Please come out and join us. This is a copy of our flyer. It's got a QR code you can register. We are going to provide giveaways. We are going to have lunch for the first 200 folks that come out. A healthy lunch, I might highlight, right? We have to do that. And if you decide that you're in the area and you didn't register and you want to come see us, please come out. And one more plug, I know it's limited time, but if you have young people, please bring them too. We have a youth corner. We know that Black youth suicide rates are increasing.
Yes.
We want to alleviate this. We want to be intentional in our efforts.
Yes.
Wonderful.
The Links Incorporated sent the right spokesperson. Dr. Wendy, thank you so much. And we want to have you back because you are a wealth of information on reproductive health. She does pediatric reproductive health and things of that nature. So, all right. Thank you, Dr. Wendy. Everybody stay with us. Coming up after the break, we'll do our Women's History Moment.